To get the effect that we want out of fasting, we have to have a little bit of an element of surprise. Now, I don't mean like going back to the whole like shock your body thing, although that does make some sense, right? With workouts, we do kind of want to shock the body. We want to trigger an adaptation. With fasting and with nutrition, occasionally we do kind of want to shock the body and get a hormetic stress response, right? But that's not necessarily what I'm getting at with this. There's a brand new 2022 study published in Scientific Reports that teaches us a new potential way to get more fat loss effects out of fasting. Let's break it down. But first, after today's video, I put a link down below for 50% off Hiya multivitamins. Now, if you have kids like I do, you're probably looking for a way to get a little bit more nutrition in their diet. I always am. At the end of the day though, my kids love taking a Hiya multivitamin because it's sweetened with monk fruit, so I'm not opposed to it. There's no sugar in it. Plus, they enjoy it. It's a fun ritual that I like to be a part of. It's a lot of fun for them to be able to say, hey, I got my pajamas on, now I can go have my vitamin. And to them, it's a treat, but they're not having to get the garbage like Flintstone vitamins and stuff like that are riddled with sugar and red dye 40 that I had to have when I was a kid. These are a completely different ballgame. So that is a 50% off, huge discount link for you to check them out. A big thank you to Hiya for the support on this channel. So top line of the description underneath this video. Okay, so this Scientific Reports study took a look at subjects that ate at 8 a.m., 12 p.m. and 8 p.m. So a 12-hour fast and a 12-hour eating period. So then they compared this to subjects that were eating at 12 p.m., 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. Okay, and they did this for 5 days consecutively. Okay, so here's what's wild, is on the 6th day, they had these subjects eat a high-fat meal. Now what was interesting is the group of people that did the intermittent fasting ended up having higher levels of fat oxidation genes, and they were able to oxidize fat from the high-fat meal significantly better. What does this tell us about fasting in this particular case? Well, what it teaches us is that in a very consecutive fashion, in sort of a burst type deal, you can get huge effects on fat oxidation. But we run into a big problem if we were to continue to do that all the time. Because in theory, it looks great. Okay, well, it increased fat oxidation, burning more fat from this high-fat meal. I just want to do this forever. But if we did it forever, our metabolism would start to decrease. And there's plenty of evidence that suggests that. Okay, 16/8 intermittent fasting really does lead a lot of it to be the benefit coming from just caloric restriction. So if we did that forever, we would stop getting the benefit. So what I'm implying with this is that we try what is called burst fasting. If you're not someone that likes to just fast a couple days per week as a normal lifestyle, you might be a good candidate for doing 4 or 5 days of consecutive 16 or 18-hour fasts and then taking 2 or 3 weeks off. What that can do is it can allow the 4 or 5 days that you do a more aggressive fasting in a consecutive fashion approach to really have a benefit, and then you take some time off to allow sort of a recharging. So the other side of the coin is, okay, well maybe you just do like a 24-hour fast 1 day a week or a 36-hour fast 1 day a week. It's the same sort of principle. You're just looking at it through a different, more sort of wide-angle lens, right? So instead of taking 1 day a week where you're doing a 24-hour fast, you're taking 1 week out of the month or 5 days out of the month where you're doing aggressive, like 1 meal a day type strategy, back-to-back consecutive days, which I normally wouldn't suggest doing over the long haul, and then taking time off again. This way, if you don't want to do a longer, more prolonged fast, you don't have to. Because what I typically suggest with people is like, okay, well, you're probably going to get more benefit out of doing a 20-hour fast or 24-hour fast as far as fat oxidation is concerned. But some people are like, I just can't push it that long. Like, I like the lifestyle approach. Well, doing it in a burst fashion allows you to still have the lifestyle approach without having to do these longer fasts. This might also be really good for muscle preservation, because as the fasts start getting longer, you do start sort of flirting with the risk of burning up muscle. So at least in this burst fashion, you can have your cake and eat it too and not really have a huge risk of burning up muscle, because you're not going to burn up muscle on a 16 or 18-hour fast, especially if you're meeting your protein requirements during your eating period. So this strategy might be something new for you to try this year to try to squeeze a little extra benefit out of your fasting without slowing down your metabolism. See you tomorrow.